All right, Chase Sr. here, host of the 49ers Report, bring you a George Kittle update in the lead up to the 49ers season opener against the Chicago Bears, week 1 on Sunday. Of course, we'll be doing a watch party for it here on the channel. That's why you subscribe. You also subscribe because no matter where I am, I'm always bringing you the latest 49ers news, rumors, updates, and analysis. Even if I'm on the floor at one of our offices here at Chat Sports, in case you missed it last week, we're expanding here at Chat Sports. When I was hired here March 1 of last year, I was the 8th employee and hired. Now we have 20 employees. And because of that, we've expanded here at Chat Sports, our office right now, going through renovations. We're adding several new studios. So right now, we're undergoing some building within the office, so I'm not able to get in the studio, but that's why I'm bringing you this video from where I am right now. And honestly, the view's pretty dope, as you can see. That is the Dallas skyline right there. But you came here for a George Kittle update, and that's what I'm here to discuss. And going into the Niners Week 1 game against the Chicago Bears, it is not looking good as of right now for Kittle, at least according to some reports. This coming from Aaron Wilson, Pro Football Network. That's Kittle's injury is, quote, not good. We talked about this yesterday, right? What it means, the implications of it, when it occurred. According to reports and according to Kyle Shanahan during his press conference yesterday, George Kittle injured his groin Monday at Niners practice in the lead up to the season opener against the Chicago Bears. And there is a belief right now, according to Aaron Wilson, that it's serious enough to keep him out of week 1. Now, it was labeled day-to-day yesterday on Wednesday. But if you look at this timeline, this is where things start to get a little bit tricky and a little bit worrisome. Suffered the injury on Monday, did not participate in practice on Tuesday, couldn't give it a go on Wednesday, and now we're hearing, after he didn't practice yet again, that it's serious enough to keep him out of week 1. Aaron Wilson saying that he's unlikely to play against the Chicago Bears. And obviously, this is big for a couple of reasons. One, George Kittle, the best all-around tight end in the National Football League. 2, tight ends can often be a security blanket for a young quarterback. 1, George Kittle is an awesome blocker, whether he's flanked to Trent Williams, flanked to Mike McGlinchey. He offers protection in the pass game, but also he's a bulldozer in the run game. And then in the passing game, what George Kittle can provide and offer Trey Lance is a security valve. You go through your progressions. Deebo Samuel's not there. Brandon Ayuk isn't there. Jawan Jennings isn't there. You just check it down to George Kittle. Other times you're going to design plays, specifically altering your offense to target George Kittle to get him involved in this offense. And George Kittle can be targeted in a variety of ways in a multitude of places on the football field. Running down the seam, out route, little slant, little in route. You hit him on a bubble screen, but also George Kittle makes the life easier and made the life easier for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he can make the life easier for Trey Lance because even if it's a layup of a completion, 1, it's a completion, gets a confidence going for Trey Lance. 2, it can turn into a huge play for this 49ers offense because he's so marvelous with picking up yards after the catch. And this is the update that's coming from Aaron Wilson. Quote, one source characterized Kittle's status as being fluid, but emphasized the groin injury as, quote, not good, adding that it would be optimal for him to rest and rehab for a week or 2. Another source called it a grade 2 strain that has limited Kittle's top end speed, one of the top tight ends in the game and well known for his toughness. Kittle wouldn't shock anyone if he opted to play through the injury. Nonetheless, his chances of playing nearly the entire season are considered much more likely if he sits out the season opener and doesn't further aggravate the injury. And for Kittle, you have to have a macro perspective as compared to having a micro perspective. Not having him in week 1 is obviously damaging to this 49ers offense. You want Trey Lance to get off to a good start. That way, the doubters and the haters get silenced. That way, Trey Lance is able to find a groove. That way, Trey Lance doesn't have to worry about Jimmy Garoppolo being behind him and looking over his shoulder for Garoppolo to replace him, and you give him that level of confidence. But also, if Kittle plays week 1, we're talking about a 17-game schedule here, which starts off easily, gets really difficult in the middle portion, and ends in a very difficult fashion. If you're without George Kittle for multiple weeks, then obviously that is very problematic for this 49ers team. You always want to err on the side of caution with these soft tissue injuries, with a groin injury, hamstring type of injury, so that you don't further aggravate or make that injury more serious than it actually is. Kittle gives it a go, and according to Aaron Wilson, it has affected his top end speed. And if he tries to lengthen a run out, if he tries to extend for a catch, if he tries to give further effort in the pass game, run game, blocking, whatever, and he aggravates that injury, and then he's out for several weeks, then obviously that is not ideal for San Francisco. Now, Kittle and these injury issues have certainly been a little bit worrisome. He missed 3 games last year due to a calf injury, still caught 71 passes, 910 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He has also previously injured his foot, his knee, his hamstring, and because of that, really since signing that monster contract, which at the time made him the highest paid tight end in the National Football League, injuries have been a concern for George Kittle. A lot of people out there have said, you know what, because of the contract, because of the injuries, because of how he's aging, maybe it's best to trade George Kittle to get some really good value back. I still think he has a lot of value on this football team. Again, catching passes, blocking, but also from a leadership standpoint. But you're getting to a point here where if he misses multiple games yet again this upcoming season, that becomes a trend. And that becomes a troublesome trend of him continuing to get injured. Missed 3 games last year because of that injury. And now looks as though, right, if Aaron Wilson is correct, that he might miss another game. But this is why it could be at least salvageable or okay if Kittle does miss some time. I think the 49ers have some quality backups at the tight end spot who can not offer what George Kittle has to offer, but at least offer the offense blocking ability and pass catching ability. Who will replace him? Charlie Warner, Ross Tweley. I thought it was somewhat interesting how San Francisco signed Troy Fumagalli, who was with the Eagles throughout this preseason, to their practice squad because maybe they think that this George Kittle injury could last a little bit longer. With Kittle, we're talking about a 3-time Pro Bowl selection, a first-team NFL All-Pro back in 2019. He signed that 5-year, $75 million contract that made him the highest-paid tight end prior to the 2020 season. If you're without George Kittle, that sucks. For Trey Lance's development, you're taking a weapon away from him, but you can survive against a Chicago Bears team that you should beat in Week 1. The Niners defensive line was the best all-around unit in the NFL last year by position rankings. The Bears offensive line was the worst in the league per position rankings from Warren Sharp. They gave up the most sacks in the NFL. You get after Justin Fields, you pressure him. That's how you win this football game. You don't necessarily win this football game with George Kittle. Now, I'm with everybody out there. Kittle continuing to get injured, it sucks, and it's frustrating. Give him a big deal, and these injuries, as he gets older, are a little bit of a troubling pattern. There's no doubt about that. But in Week 1, you should be able to survive without your tight end. So that is really the George Kittle update. If anything else happens, of course, we'll let you know here on the 49ers Report. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe by hitting that red subscribe button down below. Another reminder, watch party on Sunday for this game. Going to be doing a subscriber competition with Bears Now inside the walls here at Chat Sports, a super chat competition. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But until then, you can expect videos over the next couple of days. And of course, the best updates, news, and rumors on the San Francisco 49ers.